The moment I collapsed on the VA hospital floor, blood soaking through my shirt, was when I finally understood. My country wasn't trying to kill me with bullets anymore. They were using paperwork instead. "Sir, you need to wait your turn," the nurse called out, not even looking up from her computer. My right leg, the one with shrapnel still embedded from Fallujah, had given out after standing for 3 hours. "I think my stitches burst," I managed, pressing my hand against the wet spot spreading across my abdomen. She glanced up, annoyed. "Fill out Form 32B for unscheduled emergency care. There's a 4-hour wait anyway." As darkness crept into the dew, edges of my vision, I thought about the irony. I'd survived 3 tours in Iraq only to bleed out on American soil under fluorescent lights, waiting for someone to acknowledge I existed. That's when I decided, if they wanted a war, I'd give them one, but this time, I'd be fighting for my life in a whole different way. My name is Marcus Reeves, 38 years old, former Marine, Purple Heart recipient, current occupation, professional ghost. At least that's how the VA health system treated me, like a phantom patient, haunting their hallways with problems they'd rather not see. Problems that reminded them of promises made, but rarely kept. My troubles started 3 months after I came home for good. The nightmares were getting worse. The pain in my leg never stopped. The medication they'd given me barely touched it, and my prescription had run out. "Simple," my discharge officer had said. "Just go to your local VA, show your ID, and they'll take care of everything." What a fucking joke. My first visit took 8 hours. Forms in triplicate. Computer systems down. Staff shortages. When I finally saw a doctor, for all of 7 minutes, he barely looked at my records before prescribing the same meds that weren't working. "But they're not helping," I'd said. "They're what's approved for your condition," he replied, already reaching for the next file. "What about the nightmares? The anxiety?" "File a mental health request. Separate department." He looked at me for the first time. "Next appointment in 6 weeks. If you're thinking of harming yourself, there's a hotline." And just like that, I was ushered out. Another body processed. Another statistic handled. I tried again the next month, and the month after. Each time the same runaround. Different forms, different departments, different excuses. "Your records are incomplete. This injury isn't service-connected. We need prior authorization." Meanwhile, I couldn't sleep, couldn't work, couldn't afford the private care that might actually help. The worst part? I wasn't alone. The waiting rooms were full of us. Broken, men and women, eyes hollow, silently enduring a new kind of battlefield. One with no clear enemy, no straightforward mission. Just endless skirmishes against an invisible system designed to wear us down until we surrendered or disappeared. Some did disappear. Every veteran knows someone who gave up, who decided the fight wasn't worth it anymore. I was getting close to that edge myself when I met Gabriel. Gabriel Washington had lost both legs in Afghanistan. Unlike me, he came to the VA with a clipboard, a voice recorder, and a take-no-prisoners attitude. "They denied your physical therapy again?" he asked, overhearing my frustrated call in the waiting room. I nodded, too tired to explain. "Document it," he said, sliding over a small notebook. "Date, time, name of who you spoke with, exact reason given. Every single interaction." "What's the point? Nobody cares." His laugh was sharp as broken glass. "Oh, they care when the newspaper gets hold of it, when their bosses start getting calls from senators' offices." That day changed everything. Gabriel showed me what I'd forgotten. That intelligence gathering is as crucial as firepower. That identifying the true objective makes all the difference. "The system isn't broken," he explained. "It's working exactly as designed, to minimize costs by maximizing obstacles. So how do we fight it? The same way you fight any entrenched enemy. You map their defenses, identify their vulnerabilities, and coordinate your attack. For the first time since coming home, I felt a spark of the old me, the strategic thinker, the problem solver, the Marine who never left a man behind. Gabriel introduced me to the Veterans Advocacy Alliance, a group of former service members who'd transformed their military skills into weapons against bureaucratic neglect. Lawyers, journalists, social workers, all veterans, all familiar with the battlefield of paperwork and denial. First step, Gabriel said, documentation. Second step, escalation. Third step, public pressure. Fourth step, legal action if necessary. I started small, recording every phone call, keeping meticulous notes of every interaction, names, badge numbers, contradictory instructions. During my next appointment, when a new doctor tried dismissing my pain again, I pulled out my notebook. According to Dr. Phillips on March 3rd, this condition is service-connected. I have the form he signed right here. Your statement contradicts official documentation. The doctor blinked, surprised. Let me review your file again. For the first time, I left with the medication I actually needed. Small victory. But it felt like storming a hill. The breaking point came 2 months later. My abdominal wound, a parting gift from an IED, had never healed properly. The pain had been getting worse for weeks. The VA scheduled me for a CT scan, then cancelled 3 times. When I finally got the appointment, I'd been fasting for 24 hours as instructed. I'd taken an Uber I couldn't afford because I couldn't drive myself. Your authorization wasn't processed, the technician said, not meeting my eyes. We can't do the scan without approval. I have the approval, right here, signed last month. That's the wrong form. You need an AB-17, not an AB-14. Something inside me snapped, not into rage, but into a cold, tactical clarity. What's your name and position? The technician hesitated. Sir, I don't make the rules. Your name and position, I repeated, phone recording. For the record, that's when security was called. That's when I refused to leave. That's when my stitches tore from the stress. That's how I ended up bleeding. On their floor while a nurse told me to take a number. I woke up in a hospital bed, not at the VA, but at County General. Someone had called an ambulance when I passed out. Gabriel was there, furious and focused. This ends now, he said. We're taking this nuclear. The Veterans Advocacy Alliance moved like a well-oiled military unit. Within 48 hours, a local reporter had my full documented history. 3 state representatives had received detailed complaints. Pro bono lawyer had filed initial paperwork for a negligence case. 37 other veterans had come forward with similar stories when the first news story broke. Decorated Marine left bleeding on VA floor. The damage control began. Suddenly, my phone was ringing with concerned administrators. Appointment slots magically opened up. My incomplete paperwork was found and processed. Too little. Too fucking late. The Alliance wasn't just fighting for me anymore. We had found our mission: to expose the systematic mistreatment that had become standard operating procedure. We organized testimony sessions where veterans told their stories to cameras, to reporters, to anyone who would listen. We created a database tracking denial patterns. We formed teams to accompany the most vulnerable vets to appointments, armed with knowledge of policies and regulations the staff themselves often didn't know. Not everyone supported us. Some veterans, beaten down by the system, feared rocking the boat. They'll make it worse, they warned. Others, more privileged, insisted we were exaggerating the problems. But for every doubter, 10 more joined our ranks. The wounded, the forgotten. The ones who'd been told their pain wasn't real. Their trauma wasn't severe enough. Their service didn't warrant the care they'd been promised. The VA's regional director finally requested a meeting after our third news story. I expected bureaucratic double talk. Instead, I found a fellow veteran, a woman who'd served in the Gulf War, who seemed genuinely horrified by what we'd documented. The system is designed to ration care, not provide it, she admitted, off the record. We're working with budgets slashed by the same politicians who wave flags on Veterans Day. That's not our problem, I told her. We upheld our end of the deal. She looked tired in a way I recognized. What do you want? Accountability, transparency, and immediate care for critical cases. I can't change the entire system. Then change what you can, or we keep escalating until someone can. The changes came slowly, then all at once. First, the local VA established an expedited review process for disputed claims. Then they created an advocacy office, staffed by veterans, to help navigate the system. When our state senator faced tough re-election questions about veteran care, suddenly funding appeared for additional mental health providers. Not perfect, not nearly enough, but movement. My own health improved with proper care. The nightmares didn't disappear, but with actual therapy, I learned to manage them. The leg would never be right, but proper physical therapy made it functional. More importantly, I found purpose again. The Veterans Advocacy Alliance hired me as a caseworker. My job, teach other vets how to fight a system designed to wear them down. Document everything, I tell each new client, handing them the same kind of notebook Gabriel gave me. This is your weapon now. Some days are still dark. The system has deep roots and powerful protectors. For every victory, we face new obstacles. But we're warriors, trained to adapt, to overcome, to never abandon our own. Last week, I returned to that same VA hospital, accompanying an older Vietnam vet who'd been denied care for Agent Orange exposure. Insufficient documentation, despite the cancer eating through his lungs. The same nurse was at the front desk. She recognized me immediately, eyes widening slightly. "Mr. Reeves," she said carefully. "How can we help today?" I placed my hand on the shoulder of the man beside me. "This is Staff Sergeant James Wilson. He has an appointment that's been rescheduled 4 times. He will be seen today."
She started to say something about protocols and scheduling, but stopped when she noticed the reporter standing quietly behind us, the small group of veterans in the waiting room watching intently, the Alliance lawyer reviewing documents nearby. "Let
me see what I can do," she said. Wilson was seen within the hour. His treatment started the next day. Small victories, one veteran at a time. Sometimes people ask if I'm angry about what happened to me, about coming home from war only to fight another battle just to receive the care I'd earned. The truth is complicated. I'm angry at a system that treats veterans as budget liabilities rather than human beings. I'm angry at politicians who talk about supporting troops while voting against veteran services. I'm angry at a society that thanks us for our service while looking away from our suffering. But I'm also grateful. The struggle gave me back what I'd lost coming home. A mission, a band of brothers and sisters, a purpose bigger than myself. Last month I testified before a congressional committee on VA reform. I brought my documentation, 4 thick binders, of denied claims, cancelled appointments, contradictory instructions, and bureaucratic loops. This isn't about inadequate funding, I told them. It's about a culture that views veteran care as a burden rather than an obligation. It's about a system designed to outlast us, to make us give up before we receive what we've earned. A congressman interrupted, "But the VA provides vital services to millions of veterans." "Yes, sir, to the ones who survive the process. How many
don't? How many commit suicide while waiting? How many die from treatable conditions because they can't navigate your paperwork?"
That silenced him. The hearing didn't change everything. But new oversight measures passed. New accountability standards were established. More veterans were hired for key positions. It's not enough. It won't ever be enough until every veteran
receives the care they've earned without having to fight for it. But we're soldiers.
Fighting is what we do. Yesterday, a young Marine came to our office. Recent discharge, missing an arm. Eyes vacant with that 1,000-yard stare I know too well. "They keep losing my paperwork," he said, voice flat. They say I need to start over.
Handed him a notebook. Write everything down. Every name. Every date. Every promise. And know this. You're not fighting alone anymore. His shoulders straightened slightly, the reflexive response of a Marine receiving a direct order.
Survived Kandahar, he said. But this shit, it's breaking me. It's designed to break you, I told him. That's the point. They're betting you'll give up. And if I don't? I showed him the scars on my abdomen, told him about bleeding on the VA floor, about the changes we'd forced, about the battles still. Ahead, for the first time, I saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Not hope, exactly. Something more valuable to a warrior. Purpose. Welcome to your next deployment, I said. This time we're fighting for our own. When he left, notebook in hand, he walked a little taller. His war wasn't over. Neither was mine. But at least now we had the right weapons, the right intel, and one thing the system never counted on when it set out to break us. We never leave our wounded behind. Not in combat. Not at home. Not ever.